Welcome everyone to the Festival of Hope, our Christmas Day sing-along. It's so lovely to have so many of you back. And for those of you who are watching the recording later, you are definitely here with us in spirit. I am so excited to be able to share with you today one of our fan favorite presenters and community members, Kelley Lynn, is with us today. Hi, Kelley.
Hello, Michelle.
So good to have you back. And so yesterday's sing-along was musically sort of motivated. As all of you who were here yesterday can attest, John has a beautiful voice, and he has done all kinds. He was very focused on making sure that we could have some really musical backgrounds. And then we thought today we would do a little bit more silly fun.
I love silly fun.
Me too. I'm a fan of silly fun. And one of the things actually that made me think of it, Kelley, was the popularity of widowed Christmas carols. So I want you to just, if you would, share a little bit about what that looked like. Deborah, your background is gorgeous. Deborah has been working on her gratitude goulash for any of you who participated with us for Thanksgiving. And that's her background there, is her gratitude goulash, which the painting is really beautiful. I love that you have that up, Deborah. Kelley, tell us a little bit, if you would, about the Christmas carols, where that came from, how it went. I have photos of it from probably, I'd say as early as 2012, 2013, 2014. We have pictures of people singing along to the Christmas carols. So tell me about that, if you would.
I would love to. So I actually really miss doing that. It was one of my favorite parts, and will be again, hopefully, when we start seeing each other in person, of Camp Widow and of doing my Camp Widow presentation. So it's something I sort of made up, and I would do it most of the time in the Toronto Camp Widow because that was closest to Christmas time, usually in like September, October, or November. And basically what it was I would, set it up by saying that, Christmas can be hard for widowed people, and the music can be hard to listen to sometimes because our life has changed and it's very different. And so wouldn't it be great if some of the Christmas classics were rewritten for us, and we could enjoy them with our new lyrics. And then I would have volunteers, and I would have the lyrics written down on paper, and I would call them, the widowed family choir, and get 7 or 8 people to come up behind me, and they would have sheet lyrics, and we would sing through a bunch of Christmas songs with brand new lyrics. So such as, I'll give you an example if you like.
I love that.
It was just like highlights of, we didn't do the whole song of each thing. It was kind of like a best of album for widowed people. So it would be like, you'll hear all the classics, such as Frosty the Widow. Frosty the widow had an icy stone cold heart because her husband died and she had 3 kids and her life's falling apart. And the other classics, such as It's Beginning to Look a Lot Like Widowed. Everywhere you go, take a look at the grief and fog. So it was that kind of stuff. And it was incredibly fun, and people got a huge kick out of it. Rudolph the Widowed Reindeer. It just went on and on and on. The 12 Days of Widowhood. I mean, you can really rewrite almost any Christmas song to talk about widowhood. And it became one of the favorite parts for some people of that presentation. And it was a blast to do. And we would have like Christmas hats and Santa hats, and, we'd bring in props. Tanya would bring in props and stuff. And we would just have really so much fun with it.
It really was a good time. And it reminds me actually too of the value of making sure that even when things are really hard, being able to find some lightness and some silliness to give yourself a break from, all of the things that are hard that we can't change. And I know that, you have a special relationship with that idea. And I wanted to ask you this question. Christmas was your favorite holiday, I know. Before Dawn died. And then, you went through kind of a transition, and I'd love to know where you are now And, I asked this question because I know that for many of us, this is still a really hard time. And for some of us, this is a hard time because the pandemic has changed, our coping techniques and has changed the traditions that have supported us through some hard times in our lives, whether that's specific to widowhood or life in general. And so I always find it helpful to have someone talk about their experience through finding joy again in the holidays, because I remember the time for me where I thought there's no way it's ever going to be joyful. Like I am 100% done with this and I'll go through the motions for my kids, but I wasn't expecting anything for myself. So tell me a little bit about that for you.
Absolutely. So the best way to describe it is that, yes, before Dawn's death, I was a Christmas freak. Like I was one of those people that would start annoyingly playing Christmas songs in August, like literally. And, and people would be like, what are you doing? It's not even September yet. It's not even Halloween yet. But I loved Christmas. I just loved it. And so not only did I love Christmas, but also Dawn proposed to me at the Rockefeller Center Christmas tree in New York City 1 week before Christmas. And so we had a Christmas themed wedding. It was called Christmas in October. Our wedding was in October and it was very Christmas themed. My dad and I sang Christmas carols during the cocktail hour. Like everything about it was Christmas. And so when he died, it was extremely sad for me to I had a hard time even like thinking about Christmas without him involved in my thoughts, if that makes sense. Like I couldn't imagine getting back to Christmas without Dawn, with me, because he had just become such a part of why I loved it. And so because I don't have kids, I kind of decided like, I'm just going to walk away from Christmas until I can come back to it. And I remember my grief counselor telling me, Christmas will always be there. Like it's going to be there when you're ready. And whether that takes a year or 3 years or 5 years or 7 years, it'll be there. It's not going anywhere. And so just, walk away for a little while. You don't have to force yourself to be a part of it. Just don't be a part of it until you're ready to. And so that's kind of what I did. I didn't want to ever become one of those people that hated Christmas forever because my husband died. So I wanted to kind of protect my love for Christmas and be able to know that I could love it again someday, even though I couldn't picture loving it at that time again. So I kind of knew that and I walked away from it. The first couple of years after he died, I just did not do Christmas. Like my parents took me and we went to a casino on Christmas Day and we pretended it was not Christmas and we just did nothing Christmassy. And I didn't want to talk about Christmas. I was like, nope, I'm not ready. I don't want to deal with it. And the next year we did something similar. And then, it took me a few years to kind of go back to the family and go back to the family traditions and that kind of thing. Because it was just too painful the first couple of years. And the same thing with the Rockefeller Center Christmas tree. I was living in New York City still in that area. And the first few years, I couldn't even walk by the tree. Like it was so heart-wrenching, where he proposed and it was like our tree. And it felt like I was suffocating when I would walk by. And then a few years later, I was able to sit at the tree and, for 20 minutes before I started crying. And then a couple of years later, it got way easier. And eventually, I think it took about 5 to 6 years for me to just, all of a sudden, it was like, I think I like Christmas again. And I started to kind of feel the love coming back for Christmas and liking, seeing the Christmas lights and the Christmas trees and the Christmas songs. And it just started to come back. And it took, a long time. It took a few years, but it came back. And then since then, it's been back. So this year has been a little different because of obviously the pandemic, but once again, I find myself engaged during Christmas season because I just got engaged about a week ago. And so, yeah, it's kind of like very full circle in a way. Mm-hmm. It's very strange to be in this place again where I have this much joy surrounding Christmas season again, where I never thought I would. So it's like I had to go through all this heartbreak in order to get back to the joy.
I love that. And I intentionally brought it out because I want to say to everyone who might be struggling today, and feeling hopeless about being able to love Christmas again, that the loving of Christmas for Kelley didn't come with a new engagement. I point that out intentionally because it's not about putting someone else in your life necessarily, though of course if you welcome that, then it's great. But it's about finding your way back in your own time and giving yourself the space to bah humbug if you need to, or for some people it's comforting to come back into their traditions. And so, we all kind of have a different kind of relationship with the holidays, but on days where it might feel like there's just never going to be another time when you love Christmas again, or whichever of the holidays is most important to you. I just wanted to offer Kelley's story because I knew that she specifically, as you might have noticed, that her and her fiance Nick did our Christmas video, which is wonderful, talking about Christmas traditions. You can find that on the Festival of Hope website under community videos if you haven't yet watched it. But what I love about Kelley's story specifically is that she found her way back to Christmas on her own. And then once she was sort of back in Christmas, then that full circle moment of including a new engagement, happened at the same time, which, is a lovely, as you said, sort of full circle. So whether or not love feels like something that's possible for you, or even joy feels like something possible for you, I just wanted to offer that as a sort of light at the end of what can be, or maybe feel like a really long tunnel.
And it's been a decade. So, it will be a decade in July since Dawn died. So it feels very full circle that it would be 10 years, to sort of come around to the joy once again.
I love that. I want to also give a shout out to Pamela's antlers because they're flashing at me right now. And so I just wanted to say, Pamela, I'm really enjoying your antlers. All right, so Kelley, tell me a little bit. We've got some minutes, about 15 minutes for Christmas caroling, and I think you had potentially some trivia. So let's dive into the lightening of our holiday moods, while giving that little bit of opportunity to just leave space for joy, leave space for the possibility of what could be.
Yes. So Michelle, do you watch the Christmas specials at all? Rudolph, Frosty the Snowman.
I have watched them all.
You have?
Not this year, but I've watched them all in my lifetime for sure, multiple times, I'd say.
Do you have a favorite?
One of my favorites, and I never can remember the name of it, is the one that has like the guy who represents winter and the guy who is the little
flame. Heat miser and the snow miser.
Heat miser. I love that. That was my favorites. That was one of my personal favorites.
How cool is this that's one of the songs that I want to sing, because I love that song.
Nice.
So that is from A Year Without a Santa Claus. That's the name of that special.
Okay, that's
good. They are brothers. They're the dueling brothers, and one is the snow miser and one is the heat miser, and one loves the winter and one loves I'm Mr. White Christmas, I'm Mr. Snow, I'm Mr. Icicle, I'm Mr. 10 Below. Friends call me Snow Miser, whatever I touch turns to snow in my clutch. I'm too much, do-do-do. Do-do-do-do. I never want to know a day that's over 40 degrees. I'd rather have it 30, 20, 10. Let it freeze. I'm Mr. Green Christmas. This is the other guy now. I'm Mr. Sun. I'm Mr. Heat Miser. I'm Mr. 101. They call me Heat Miser. Whatever I touch starts to melt in my clutch. I'm too much. Do-do-do-do. Do-do-do-do. Some like it hot. I like it really hot.
That makes me so happy. I haven't heard that song in so long.
That's such a favorite of mine. It's like, that's one of my favorite songs on all of those Christmas specials. The other one I love is Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, of course, because it's about misfits. And I often think of widowed people as misfits in so many ways. There's so many correlations to Rudolph that I can totally relate to as a widowed person. And Rudolph just feeling like a misfit wherever he goes. And then he meets his friend Hermie, who's an elf. Does anybody know what he wants to be instead of an elf? If you put it in the chat, I think you all know, those of you who watch Rudolph. What does Hermie want to be? Yes, a dentist, Christy.
Yes.
I
Christy,
want
you
to
were
be
much
a
faster
dentist.
at typing than I was. I was like, a dentist, a dentist.
Hermie wants to be a dentist, and he does not. He says, I don't want to make toys. I want to be a dentist. And then they have a fantastic duet, which I love. And I'm not going to sing the whole thing because it's really long, but Rudolph and Hermie sing a song about being misfits. And I just absolutely love it. It's adorable. And they sing, we're a couple of misfits. We're a couple of misfits. What's the matter with misfits? That's where we fit in. And they go along the snow and singing about misfits, being misfits. And he doesn't want to make toys. And Rudolph has his blinding red nose. And so they're both misfits. The Charlie Brown Christmas special is one of my favorites.
Very good.
I love that one. And in that one, my trivia question is, what does Lucy ask Santa for every year that she never gets for Christmas? Ooh. Lucy asks Santa for something every single year, and she never gets it. Anybody know?
I don't know the answer to that.
Nope, not a football, Jenny. She's already got the football to mess around with Charlie Brown.
Charlie.
Right? It's kind of a bizarre answer. Maybe she wanted a new one. Charlie Brown? No. So the answer is real estate. I always thought that was a hilarious line. She's like, I ask every year. And Lina says, what is it that you want? Real estate. And she never gets it. And that show cracks me up because, like, where are their parents? They have no parents. These kids have no parents. You never see any parents ever on Charlie Brown. And when you do, it's just their voices and they're not saying real words. It's the wah, 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 wah. The teachers have the same voice, wah, 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 wah. But they don't say anything. They never, ever speak real words. And I find that hilarious because the Charlie Brown is all about the kids. You never see, like, their Thanksgiving. You never see the parents, any of them. So they have no parents, and it absolutely cracks me up. One thing I have to point out about Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer that I noticed years ago, and all of you are going to watch it. Next time you watch it, you're going to now not be able to watch it without noticing this. So the Island of Misfit Toys, right? You have all these toys that are misfits, and there's something bizarre about them or off about them. Like the Jack in the Box is a Charlie in the box and that kind of thing. And he says, nobody wants a Charlie in the box. And there's all these misfit toys and they need a home, with children. And so at the end, Santa comes in his sleigh with Rudolph and the reindeer to pick them up. And they finally are going to have a brand new home with these kids. He makes a stop at the Island of Misfit Toys. Well, when he goes up back into the air with his sleigh, there's one toy that is a bird who cannot fly. That's why he's a misfit. He's a bird who has no wings and he can't fly. So at the very end, it's during the credits. And again, you'll notice this next time you watch it. At the very end, when Santa and his sleigh is going over, in the air to all the houses, he one by one gives all the toys a parachute, like an umbrella, a parachute, and then kind of pushes them out of the sleigh and sends them on their way down to their new home. Well, when he sends the bird with no wings who can't fly out of the sleigh, he pushes him and he doesn't give him a parachute. So Santa murders the bird who can't fly. He pushes him out of the sleigh and he has no parachute. I'm telling you, you have to watch it again. Go to the credits, go to the end. You're going to be like, oh my God, Kelley was right. He murders the bird who can't fly. So Santa is evil in Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. He's also very mean in other parts of Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer as well. He yells at the chorus, tells them they stink and they can't sing. There's lots of evidence that Santa is a mean man in that particular special. Their version of Santa, but he pushes that show ends with him pushing the bird out of the sleigh. I just need to point that out to everyone.
I also want to just circle back to the Island of Misfit Toys. And I love the correlation you made with misfits and widowed people. How
Yeah.
oftentimes we feel out of place in certain situations, but when those misfits found their tribe, then it was everything changed. Everything changed when they found the other misfits and they found a place they belonged. And I love that how well that correlates for us at Soaring Spirits. We're all about having widowed people find friends, and so it really is an awesome.
The Islands of Misfit Toys is like their Camp Widow.
Yes, exactly right.
Except they don't get to have theirs at an expensive Marriott.
With very comfortable beds.
Very comfortable. We
all right, well, we have 7 minutes, so I was feeling like we should get to some of the singing, although I'm muting today.
You are? Oh, that's so sad.
Yes. Well, we can all sing as loud as we want. And
I was hoping you'd have another solo.
Stop that.
Does anyone have any requests? I mean, there's several songs that I love, Winter Wonderland, Sleigh Ride, whatever you guys want to hear, we can go out with.
Does anybody have a favorite Christmas carol they would like to hear or sing?
Winter Wonderland.
Okay.
You like Winter Wonderland?
First request.
Joy to the world.
All right.
Thanks.
Let's start with that one.
All right.
See how far we get. Winter Wonderland. All right. Give me 1 second. I just gotta bring up the lyrics because I know I'll forget them. Okay, ready? Oh, that's not Winter Wonderland. Yes, it is. Okay. So you guys aren't going to sing with me? We're not going to do that disaster, right? Okay.
We are going to sing with you, but muted so that we can sing on our own locations.
All right, Winter Wonderland. Sleigh bells ring. Are you listening? In the lane, snow is glistening. A beautiful sight. We're happy tonight, walking in a winter wonderland. Gone away is the bluebird, here to stay is the new bird. He sings a love song as we go along, walking in a winter wonderland. In the meadow we can build a snowman and pretend that he is Parson Brown. He'll say, are you married? We'll say, no, man. But you can do the job while you're in town. Later on, we'll conspire as we dream by the fire to face unafraid the plans that we made. Walking in a winter wonderland, walking in a winter wonderland. Boom, boom.
Do you know I want a hippopotamus for Christmas?
You did.
That's a really cute song.
It is.
You know that one, Kelley?
I won a hippopotamus for Christmas.
No,
I don't.
I want a hippopotamus
for Christmas.
I thought you were telling me you won a hippopotamus for Christmas. I was like, that's an interesting prize.
I want one.
It's called I Want a Hippopotamus for Christmas.
I don't know
that is a favorite of mine too, Sue. That's a fun one.
You guys should sing it. Yeah. Do you know it?
It's on Google. I mean, you can find the words.
I don't know it well enough to sing it myself.
But I don't know
we
what
also had a request for
Christmas.
Joy. Oh, there it is. Sue knows it.
Sue knows it. I think Sue should sing it because I don't know the melody.
No, I'm terrible.
Yeah. We also had a request for Joy to the World.
Joy to the World. Okay.
But I love that request, Sue. If I knew it well enough, I would make an attempt.
I think she should find that. I love the hippopotamus song. That's a good one.
Yeah, that is a really good one.
That's got Kelley written all over it.
Which one?
The hot hippopotamus song.
Oh, I like your antlers. Those are
okay. Do we have Joy to the World?
Joy to the World. Okay.
And if anyone else has any requests, I think we'll have time for another one after this. So please feel free to type it in the chat if you have a favorite and you'd like to sing along.
Joy to the world, the Lord is come. Let earth receive her King. Let every heart prepare him room. song, and heaven and nature sing, and heaven and nature sing, and heaven and nature sing. Joy to the world, the Savior reigns. Let men their songs employ, while fields and floods, rock hills and plains, repeat the sounding joy, repeat the sounding joy, repeat, repeat the sounding joy. There's about 18 more verses, so we'll
I love that one.
yeah,
Okay,
that's a good
anybody
one.
else have a request? Otherwise, we'll have Kelley pick a final song for us today. I know
I
you
haven't
said,
thought about that one.
yeah. Do you have a final song? We don't have, oh, Holy Night. I love that
Oh
one too.
God, I can try. I don't
I
know
think
if
you
my
can do
voice
it.
is
I believe in you.
quite beautiful enough for that one. That's a beautiful one. Okay. Ooh, that came up in French when I put the lyrics.
If you can do it in French, that would really be something.
That would be pretty impressive, wouldn't it? I don't know why it came up in French.
Michelle, you could sing with her.
Yeah, I think so too.
Sassafras.
I'm trying to find lyrics.
Mhm.
I don't know it by heart. Okay, ready? Oops.
Got it?
I think so. Oh, holy night, the stars are brightly shining. It is the night of our dear Savior's birth. Long lay the world in sin and error pining, till he appears and the soul felt its worth. A thrill of hope, the weary world rejoices, for yonder breaks a new and glorious morn. Fall on your knees, oh, hear the angel voices, oh, night divine, oh, night when Christ was born. We had timing there. I love it. She joins in with me at the end.
I figured I wouldn't leave you for the very last bits.
I really appreciate that because that's difficult. You know who does a beautiful version of that is Celine Dion.
Yes.
Gorgeous.
There are so
version.
many gorgeous versions.
Yep.
Okay, how about if we end with "We Wish You a Merry Christmas"?
Oh my goodness. We wish you a Merry Christmas. That's one of the ones I mock lightly, of course.
Excellent. Even better.
I mock it because in the song they demand figgy pudding, and I wonder who the heck demands figgy pudding?
And who's going to give it to them? That's the other question.
I don't understand who would demand figgy pudding.
We'll go through that first verse. And this time, everyone, I mean, I feel like we should all unmute. "We Wish You a Merry Christmas" is one we could do together. Yes, Jenny's worried about it, but I am not. I think it's
I think it's fun. I think it's
so
fun.
whoever wants to sing, unmute, join us in our final holiday carol.
Our final carol of demanding figgy pudding. You ready?
Exactly right.
Never learn our lesson ever.
No, we don't.
All right.
I'm gonna back up though.
And a one, a two, a 1, 2, 3. We wish you a
Merry
Merry
Christmas. We
We
wish
wish
you
you a Merry
Christmas.
Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas.
And a
Happy
New Year. Good tidings to
We bring
you
to you and
and
we wish
Merry Christmas.
Happy New Year. Now bring us some figgy pudding. Now bring
Now
us
bring us
some
some
figgy
figgy
pudding. Now bring us some figgy pudding. And
Now bring it
something
right
good
here.
here.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a little bit of what yesterday sounded like. I am so
frightening.
grateful for all of you. What a fun way to spend a little time together. Thank you, Kelley, for being willing to lead us with your beautiful voice. Actually, you have a beautiful voice. It worked out perfectly. And we're so
you.
grateful for each of you coming to spend a little bit of time with us today on Christmas. So I want you to remember as you go into the rest of the day that our little island of misfit toys exists just for you, and that we are in it together, and being able to see your faces just sort of solidifies that. So thank you all very much for taking the time to join us.
And let's
Kelley,
never create an album together.
yes, perhaps we will not create an album. I don't know that we would be able to sell it, but one never knows. Merry Christmas, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. Kelley, congratulations
Kelley, I put
for celebrating.
the link to the hippo song in the chat.
Oh,
Thank
good.
you.
Link
I can't wait to
the
hear
song
it.
is in the chat.
I
All
can't
right,
wait to hear it.
everyone. Be well.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Thanks, Sue. Merry Christmas. Thank you, Kelley.
You're welcome.
Love.